sky today, January the 9th, 2020 in Flushing. Here is the Flushing High School fence, and here is the Union Street, and here is the Northern Boulevard cross section. And Mom is gonna continue
I'm sorry, do you know what bus stop it is?
to walk in this community and continue to record some important thoughts. Anyway, regarding the legal case that really must be rectified in Washington State, is because that is a very important education project. Okay, that is a very important process to wake up the people in Washington State, and even our team members, many of them, I think at this point they still are not, awakened to that level that can take on leadership work. And in this human world, a lot of people, they are following the wrong and evil ideology, and when they do that, they are actually destroying their own life. And if that is not rectified, and if that is not clarified, and if those evil ideologies continue to guide people's actions, and the loss is tremendous. So when Mom look at what has happened, in our family, and what has happened to Mom, the moment when Mom made a choice to cultivate, in America, this is not in communist China. In communist China, when the person make a choice to cultivate, to follow the law of the universe, to follow the principles of truth, good, and endure, and started to practice daily exercise and to study the law, and to use the law to guide their daily life. And when people started to do that, they experienced great health benefit. They started to validate that those principles that they have learned regarding the nature of the universe, and the law of the universe, and the proper way of doing things in the human world, and how to elevate their mind, body, and spirit after following the law. And they starting to validate that yes, this truly is the law, because by following the law, the life starting to go to a different realm, and following the spiritual upgrading, the body also follows, and the body also starting to experience health and energy, right? And so if it is truth, you can validate that, and if you follow the truth, then you will also realize how powerful that is. And if you follow the false and evil ideology, your life will also starting to manifest the disastrous, destructive consequence. So yes, it is a big laboratory. In Mom's mind, human world is a big laboratory. If it is truth, it can be reproduced, the results. And all the wrong operation and the consequence also can be totally reproduced. As long as you do the wrong things, you will suffer consequence for that. And all those scenarios were played out throughout the Chinese history and carefully recorded. The 5,000 years of Chinese history, and individual story, family story, community story, national story, international story, all those different scales of play out has been recorded. And therefore, from that, modern people can extract data, and modern people can really make solid, good scientific conclusion and interpretation for those data. And as long as we put our mind into it and examine the human history and all the human experimentation at different scales, and we can extract very, very important data. And eventually you understand what is the fundamental principle that guides human life, and what can make a person rise up, what can make a person sink down, and what can make a family healthy, and what can make a family to be destroyed, and what can make a nation strong, and what can make a nation to be destroyed, you know. So in every regard, in China, in the communist China, when people 100 million chose to practice Falun Gong, and the health benefit manifested, the data is all there. Now, when mom practiced Falun Gong, Falun Dafa, and mom also starting to validate very important principles throughout the whole journey. And in China, when practice Falun Gong is being persecuted by the Chinese Communist Party and the corrupted officials in China who believed and followed those evil ideologies. And in America, when mom started to practice Falun Dafa, mom is also being persecuted in every regard by all those people who follow evil ideologies. And so it's really not a political persecution. It is really not a political movement. A lot of people in the Western world call Falun Gong to be political movement, anti-Chinese government. Wrong, wrong, wrong. Well, it is really, you know, I think it's about spiritual upgrading. When men want to rise beyond humanness, it's almost a common phenomenon that this person will starting to be attacked by those old forces, right? So it is a spiritual phenomenon in every regard, and it's also a scientific phenomenon in every regard. If you stand from a scientist's point of view. So when mom made the choice to start to practice Falun Dafa, and how that choice lead to a lot of people starting to stand in opposition to mom's choices and started to follow the evil ideology and starting to use under the name of for the benefit of mom, starting to do all those evil doings, illegal activities. And by today, most of those people still consider that they were doing something good for mom, okay? Even to the degree almost killed mom with all their so-called good deed, to force mom to give it up, force mom to choose between family versus spiritual practice. They say, hey, she gave up her family, she gave up her job, and she gave up her being a good mother, and she did that for Falun Gong. But the truth is that the moment when mom started to practice Falun Gong, they want to deprive mom the right to have a good family, the right to be the mother, the right to continue to do research. And they basically, in order to force mom to give up Falun Gong practice, they basically starting to persecute mom in every regard, discriminate mom in every regard, but all under the name of, you must choose, okay? If you choose me as your husband, you have to stop practicing Falun Gong. If you want to be a mother and spend time with your son, you must give up Falun Gong. If you want to continue to do your research, you must stop studying the health benefit, which will compromise our research center's biotech fund from the state. Okay. You follow evil ideology. You help the Communist Party of China to persecute Falun Gong practitioners in America. And then you spread lie to everybody, say that she, chose Falun Gong and starting to disbelieve science and disbelieve family and spend little time with the family, such and such. Well, that's all lies, isn't it? Well, when mom started to cultivate and started to do daily meditation and started to read the book of Zhuan Falun, all those activities were done in mom's time that never infiltrated into mom's responsibility realm. Not only that, because of practicing Falun Dafa, mom becoming more organized, more clear-headed, no health issues, and can take on even more responsibilities. And when this practice is being persecuted by the Chinese Communist government, when mom learned that every day there are hundreds of thousands of people are being terribly tortured just because of their choice of doing meditation and reading a book. And this practice has brought to the Chinese society huge health benefit. And the health benefit, as a matter of fact, included all those system level diseases that mom and mom's colleagues are spending billions of dollars trying to find a solution. And you tell me, if you are a good person with conscience, would you say, no, I just have to quit studying that, I just have to quit talking about it, I just have to quit, all the meditation and the wonderful truths that every day I love to do and read, just because my husband asked me not to do that. My research center director asked me not to do that. Mom cannot follow those orders. Mom must stand up to uphold some very fundamental principles in life. So that was what mom did. Mom just basically quietly, gently uphold, the very fundamental rights as a human being in America to continue to do the work of a mother, to do the work of a wife, to do the work of a scientist. So 15 years journey into New York, and that's what mom did. And when mom just simply uphold that very fundamental, right and principle and the conscience, and mom was labeled to be manic depression patient, legally incapacitated, all the private properties were taken away without going through the process of normal legal process that is the very fundamental human rights in this country that a human being should have. And 15 years later today, when mom tried many efforts to clarify the truth to dad, to 外公外婆, to Jojo, to the research center director, to all our friends, day in and day out. Did a community education to let people know about, what's really going on, what is the truth. And I think 15 years is enough, isn't it? And at this point, it is time, So, yeah, talk about legal, actions. For this kind of legal cases, if you look into the court record in Washington State about Dr. Tang Wen-Wang, and you see how the husband claimed that his wife was practicing evil cult and influenced the family, and therefore he wanted to divorce. And then Dr. Tang Wen-Wang's brother in the court document stated with a medical diagnosis by his colleague Amelia Galatano Mandel that she considered Dr. Tang Wen-Wang to be suffering from manic depression based upon her 1 hour or less time of conversation in her brother's wedding banquet, pretending to be just a normal friend meeting Dr. Jian Xinbao's sister in his wedding, and use that 1 hour of conversation as the base to write a medical diagnosis. In that medical diagnosis, also accusation of Dr. Tang Wen-Wang's personal life to be immoral, and really in every regard, bluntly slander Dr. Tang Wen-Wang's character. And in this court document presented to the Seattle court, deprived Dr. Tang Wen-Wang's right and made her a so-called incapacitated person, and lie in the court bluntly regarding Dr. Wang was already residing in St. Louis with his brother. And in that regard, how that Seattle court actually could proceed and to honor a medical diagnosis that the person they are charged for, medical incapacitation, never showed up in the court. They never did any examination, to confirm that was the truth. And within a very short period of several months, without Dr. Tang Wen-Wang even being notified of all the court hearings, they already give the guardianship role to Dr. Jian Xinbao, and the family house was sold by Dr. Jian Xinbao. That was Dr. Tang Wen-Wang's family house. That's Noah's family house. That's Alan Genetosia's family house. And Alan and Noah are residing in Seattle, Washington. And because Alan claimed that that house is Dr. Tang Wen-Wang's responsibility, and he also did absolutely nothing about this whole, accusation of his wife to have manic depression. He sit there and said nothing at all. And as a matter of fact, it is exactly him who were demanding for child support and spouse support. And when Dr. Tang Wen-Wang already had no job that year, still legally, he was demanding for child support and spouse support, and forcing Dr. Tang Wen-Wang to continue to pay for the mortgage of the house. Meanwhile, he sold the family house that was purely all Dr. Tang Wen-Wang's income from Harvard, and he secretly sold without Dr. Tang Wen-Wang's signature, not even let Dr. Tang Wen-Wang know about it. Sold the house and rolled over and bought another house. and made all the plan to just take over all the financial resource of Dr. Teng Wang. And when things like that happen in America, yes, that is your dad. Yes, that is your uncle. But what they have done is to make you totally lose your right to be with your mom ever since you were only 7 years old. What they have done was to bluntly slander your own mother's character and force your mom into a mentally almost totally breakdown state and almost died. And what they did following that, when mom recovered from that mental breakdown state because of her faith in Falun Dafa, the whole family not only were not grateful to Falun Dafa, but continue to spread negativity. And the dad you love and mom love continue to defame Falun Gong, continue to spread lies that his wife left him for Falun Gong and was a bad mother, while he went to the court and ordered that the court shall only allow the mother to spend 2 hours a week with the son, even under supervision, by the year of 2004. Okay. So, yes, you're growing up in such an environment, surrounded by lies, surrounded by darkness, and deprived the warm, loving care of mother, and live with a father who did all that and continue to do that day in and day out. And mom was chased away, kicked out, emotionally tortured, deprived of all rights, and facing life-threatening danger in the community, and struggled to build the Whole Elephant Institute, and waiting also for your growing up so that things can be clarified to you. So yes, mom waited for 15 years for you to grow up into a young man, so that mom can present to you the truth. And so mom also wants to encourage you to walk with mom and starting to clean up all those garbage that has been pouring all over mom. And that is not one single case. And that has been happening to 100 million Falun Gong practitioners and their family members. And will continue to happen to many people who choose to practice Falun Gong in this country, if those evil ideologies and the corrupt legal systems and all those things that happen to mom are not cleaned up. So that is the reason that mom says 2020 shall be the year that we clean it up together. Okay. Well, look at the moon. Very bright in the sky, like a mirror looking down upon human world, and to see who is who. Okay.